She defined an era with her quirky charm. Now Hollywood mourns an irreplaceable legend. Diane Keaton, the woman who made us laugh, cry, and rethink everything we knew about love and style, has left us at 79. But her legacy? That will live forever. Today, we're diving deep into the extraordinary life of an actress who didn't just play roles, she became them. From the streets of New York to the dark corners of the Corleone family mansion, Diane Keaton carved a path that no one else could follow. This is her story. This is her legacy. And before we begin, if you love stories about Hollywood legends who changed cinema forever, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss our content celebrating the icons who shaped our culture. Diane Keaton wasn't just an actress, she was a force of nature. Born Diane Hall on January 5, 1946, in Los Angeles, California, she grew up in a middle-class family that valued creativity and expression. But nothing in her early years could have predicted the seismic impact she would have on American cinema. Her journey began on stage, not on screen. In 1968, she appeared in the original Broadway production of Hair, that revolutionary rock musical that challenged every convention of the time. But it was the following year that would change everything. She auditioned for a play written by a neurotic, bespectacled comedian named Woody Allen. The play was called Play It Again, Sam, and it would mark the beginning of one of the most legendary partnerships in film history. Woody Allen and Diane Keaton, two names that would become inseparable in the annals of cinema. Their relationship was complicated, beautiful, and utterly fascinating. They dated in the late 1960s and early 1970s, and though their romance eventually ended, their creative partnership endured for decades. Allen once said there was no human that made him laugh like Keaton, and it showed. Together, they created some of the most memorable films of the 1970s and beyond. Sleeper in 1973, Love and Death in 1975, and then came 1977, the year that would define both of their careers. Annie Hall. Annie Hall wasn't just a movie, it was a cultural phenomenon. The film, which Allen wrote specifically for Keaton, even using her real surname Hall in the title, told the story of a neurotic comedian and his quirky, endearing girlfriend. The parallels to their real-life relationship were impossible to ignore. Keaton herself admitted that Annie Hall mirrored her own insecurities, her dreams of being a singer, her way of stumbling over words. The film won 4 Academy Awards: Best Picture, Best Director, Best Original Screenplay, and Best Actress for Diane Keaton. It was a sweep, and Keaton's performance, unforgettable. She brought vulnerability, humor, and an authenticity that made audiences fall in love with her. But Annie Hall did something else too. It made Diane Keaton a fashion icon. Her androgynous style, menswear-inspired outfits, vests, ties, hats, and wide-legged trousers became a sensation. Women everywhere started copying her look. Even decades later, the Annie Hall aesthetic remains influential. Keaton didn't follow trends. She set them, and she did it by being unapologetically herself. But Keaton was more than Annie Hall. She was Kay Adams Corleone in Francis Ford Coppola's The Godfather trilogy, playing the girlfriend and later the tormented wife of Al Pacino's Michael Corleone. Keaton brought depth and humanity to a character trapped in a world of violence and moral decay. Her performance in The Godfather and its sequels showcased her dramatic range. She wasn't just a comedic actress. She was a serious, versatile talent who could hold her own alongside legends like Pacino, Marlon Brando, and Robert De Niro. Throughout the 1980s and 1990s, Keaton continued to prove her range. She starred in Reds, earning another Oscar nomination for her portrayal of activist Louise Bryant. She brought warmth and humor to Baby Boom, playing a high-powered executive who suddenly finds herself caring for a baby. And in 1996, she starred in 2 films that would become beloved classics: Marvin's Room, where she played a leukemia patient, earning yet another Oscar nomination, and The First Wives Club, a comedy about revenge and friendship that became a cultural touchstone. In the 2000s, Keaton showed no signs of slowing down. Something's Got to Give in 2003 paired her with Jack Nicholson in a romantic comedy that tackled aging, love, and second chances. Her performance earned her a 4th Oscar nomination and proved that Hollywood's obsession with youth wasn't universal. Audiences loved seeing a woman in her 50s portrayed as romantic, desirable, and complex. Keaton's later work included films like The Family Stone, Finding Dory, where she voiced a character in Pixar's beloved animated universe, and Book Club, a comedy that celebrated older women finding joy, friendship, and yes, romance. Her final film, Summer Camp, alongside Kathy Bates and Alfre Woodard, is set to be released in 2024, a fitting farewell to a career that spanned nearly 6 decades. Now let's talk about her relationship with Woody Allen again, because it's impossible to discuss Diane Keaton without addressing the complexity of this bond. Even after their romantic relationship ended, they remained close friends. Allen leaned on her during his highly publicized custody battle with Mia Farrow in the early 1990s, a battle that included serious allegations of child abuse against him. Keaton stood by Allen, publicly defending him, and even replacing Farrow in the film Manhattan Murder Mystery in 1992. She called Allen her friend, saying her history had always been linked with his. This loyalty, however, sparked controversy. In 2014, when Dylan Farrow renewed allegations that Allen had sexually abused her as a child, Keaton took to social media to defend him, tweeting, "Woody Allen is my friend, and I continue to believe him." The statement drew criticism from those who felt she was dismissing a survivor's story. Keaton's defense of Allen remains one of the most complicated aspects of her legacy, a reminder that even beloved figures can make choices that divide opinion. But outside of her work and her controversial loyalties, Diane Keaton was also a woman of many passions. She was an advocate for historic preservation, particularly of Spanish colonial revival architecture in Los Angeles. She worked with the Los Angeles Conservancy to save and restore buildings, including the famous Ennis House designed by Frank Lloyd Wright. She was also a real estate developer, buying, renovating, and reselling mansions in Southern California. One of her clients, Madonna, who purchased a $6.5 million Beverly Hills mansion from Keaton in 2003. Keaton was also a writer. Her 2011 memoir, Then Again, drew heavily on her mother's private journals, offering an intimate look at her life and her complicated relationship with fame, identity, and family. She even narrated the audiobook of Joan Didion's Slouching Towards Bethlehem, earning a nomination for an Audie Award. Despite all her success, Diane Keaton never married. She had relationships with some of the most famous men in Hollywood, Warren Beatty, Al Pacino, and of course Woody Allen. But she chose a different path. In her 50s, she adopted 2 children, Dexter and Duke, and embraced motherhood with the same passion she brought to her career. Her children survive her, and according to reports, her family has asked for privacy during this difficult time. In her final months, Keaton's health declined suddenly, though she kept her condition private. Even some of her closest friends weren't fully aware of what was happening. On October 11, 2025, Diane Keaton died in Los Angeles at the age of 79. The cause of her death has not been disclosed. Woody Allen, upon hearing the news, was described as extremely distraught and surprised. He had no idea her health was failing. The news, a source said, made him think of his own mortality. Tributes have poured in from across the entertainment world. Bette Midler, her co-star in The First Wives Club, called her brilliant, beautiful, extraordinary. Fans around the world have shared their favorite Keaton moments, from her awkward charm in Annie Hall to her fierce determination in The Godfather. So what is Diane Keaton's legacy? It's the laughter she gave us, the tears she made us cry, the way she made it okay to be awkward, to be different, to wear what you want and be who you are. She showed us that women could be funny and serious, romantic and independent, vulnerable and strong. She didn't fit into Hollywood's boxes, and she didn't try to. She created her own space, her own rules, her own iconic style. Diane Keaton will be remembered as one of the greatest actresses of her generation, a woman who brought authenticity to every role, who made us believe in love even when it was messy, and who reminded us that the best performances come from the heart. If this video moved you, if you have a favorite Diane Keaton moment, drop a comment below and let us know. Share this video with someone who loves classic cinema. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell so you never miss our tributes to the legends who shaped Hollywood. Diane Keaton may be gone, but her films, her style, and her spirit will live on forever. Thank you for watching. Until next time.